Want to learn some tips and tricks from a professional photographer on how to spice up your Instagram feed? I'm Dawn Pompelli, editor and owner of the Scout Guide Huntsville, and this is Scouted. We're here today with Ashley Vaughn with White Rabbit Studios and also the photographer of the Scout Guide Huntsville. Welcome, Ashley.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
This is going to be fun. We're going to use your photography expertise to share with the audience how they can take better cell phone photos. We're going into summer. It's time to zhuzh up our Instagram feeds. How's that sound?
Yes. Okay. We're going to learn how to take a good selfie.
Okay, good. So number one, what's the first thing everyone should do when they're getting ready to take a photo?
It seems pretty obvious, and most people probably already do this, but just to note, it's good to clean your lens. You're pulling your phone out of your bag, your pocket, who knows where. Just take a little second to wipe that lens before you turn on the camera. The second most important thing is to ensure your subject is in focus. Usually with the iPhone, when you are holding it up, you can touch on the screen, and that'll make sure that whatever you're trying to photograph is going to be in focus. Not only will it allow the focus, but it will help tell your phone what exposure to set. And then if you're not liking it, then you can just slide that sun up and down.
So number three, you said use burst mode.
Yes, this is important if you're capturing a moving subject or, kids or someone that doesn't really sit still, then you can just use the burst mode, which is holding down the shutter button on the phone, and that'll get you a lot of shots, which then you can kind of go back through and weed out which ones you don't like and then which ones you maybe want to take into further editing or post as is.
One of the things I love about you and what you do best is the natural light photography. Tell us a little bit about how everyone can use natural light to make their photos more beautiful.
Sure. It's very important to find that natural light so that way you're not competing against some of the harsh light that fluorescents provide or even tungsten can do to make the photos look a little bit orange. So it's best to try to find either an open window, open shade if you're outside so you're not in the full sun with a bunch of shadows. And then of course, if it's a cloudy day, then the whole sky's diffused, so that's a photographer's dream.
That makes it easy, doesn't it?
Yes, you're not fighting those shadows.
Okay, now here is something that a lot of people, groups of friends, families, they really struggle with. How do we do posing? How do we get everybody in shot?
For me personally, you rely more on the natural posing, whether that be, if you're photographing your kids, then maybe you play like red light, green light, and you'll have them like, okay, red light, then green light, and they're running towards you. Great opportunity to use that burst mode, and then perhaps one of those shots that you're gonna get in there are gonna be really cute. And then another pose that's always flattering is kind of being at a 45-degree angle from the camera. That kind of allows the body to have a little bit of depth, and then you can do things like have your subject lean into the camera, and then you can always come from above too. That is always a flattering angle for pretty much everyone. For groups, it's kind of more fun to let them kind of pose themselves and do what they want, and then you just kind of be there to capture that good angle. It's really nice, instead of standing like straight on, to kind of have a bend. Maybe you put a leg in front, hand on hip, just kind of accent the curves that everyone naturally has.
One area that I think you have a good insight on is perspective. Talk a little bit about what that means and how you can use that to spice up your Instagram game.
Sure. Oftentimes we might get stuck in a rut doing the same type of shots over and over, but it's always nice to kind of approach a scene in several different ways. Maybe you go ahead and get the shot that you think you want out of it, but then take the time to get other angles and other perspectives, because you might find a whole new one that you love.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And if you want to learn more about Ashley's photography tips or just how to live well in Huntsville, visit our website at the Scout Guide Huntsville.